Yo, y'all, VZ, we back with another video. I see the thumbnail, I see the title. Apparently, Obama said something about black men that kind of piss people off, black men in general. I don't know what he said. I didn't watch the whole speech, so we're about to see what he said. We're about to see what's going on, because, yeah, CNN is not having that today. So let's go.
Is Obama in the wrong here with how he's talking about black men in particular and singling them out in this way?
Yeah, let's start from here. He is still the greatest living retail politician. He's objectively a top 15 president, but even he can swing and miss sometimes. And here he swung and missed. Here's what he did. Harris has been very strategic about when and how she's spoken about gender and race. And he stepped on that, and when she hasn't spoken about it, he stepped on that message. And I think also with those comments, and there's more to this, but let me just start with this, is that he forgets, at least in that moment, that she doesn't get the benefit of being a historic first the way he did. She's a historic first woman if she wins.
Maybe that's part of the problem, that's what he's saying. Why doesn't she get the benefit?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have to remember that this is a thing, like Barack Obama has a history of kind of chastising specifically black men. And like the question is whether what he said is relevant, right? Because there are a few black men, like there are a few white men who are more conservative than black women, and more white men are conservative than white women. But the point is, does this work, right? And there's no evidence that it's true or that it works. And he doesn't do that with, like, you've never heard him say, why don't you white women stop being racist and vote for me? Or Kamala Harris, or they don't talk to Hispanic voters or LGBTQ voters. It's only specifically black men that he takes this tact that doesn't work.
Why do you think that is?
Because you know why.
No,
because
tell me.
The second most loyal, the most progressive group of men on the planet, they don't care about. They assume that they have their vote and they don't have to do anything for it. And the point of this is that if you don't vote for Kamala Harris and you're a black man, something must be wrong with you. That is the subtext of everything that they're saying.
Well, this is what I would.
I ain't mean to cut him off, but so basically they're saying that Obama is saying if you're a black man, you don't vote for Kamala Harris, then there's something wrong with you. Like you don't have the option to vote for anybody besides, you know what I'm saying, the Democrats, because it's mostly black. You know what I'm saying? So if Obama is saying that, then I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, just because Obama, I'm not finna agree with everything. Yeah, let me know down in the comment section what's going on with this. But yeah, let's get back into it. Let's go.
Say to this, because I was there when the NABJ interviewed Kamala Harris in Philadelphia, and what Kamala Harris said then was that you asked that question with the assumption that black men are in somebody's pocket. You can't make that assumption. Exactly. Black men are just like any other group. They have their interests, and I'm working to get their vote. I don't expect to get it because I am black. Right. I am working to get their vote, and that is what she said. And so I think we have to focus on what she said about black men, and I think we also have to focus on the fact that most black men are going to vote for Kamala Harris anyway. That is the reality. But I think that in talking to black people every day, which I do as a radio host, I've heard some black men say, I'm not voting for her because she is a woman. I have heard that. And I think that is reprehensible. Okay. I got to be honest.
Okay, so he's heard it. I mean, are we, when I say we, I mean the collective we as the country, afraid to just talk about a thing?
I think
is Obama saying
about it, but if he's summoning Barack Obama to fix a problem, you have to wonder if this fixes a problem. If I am interested in getting Kamala Harris elected, then I am upset because he hurt the thing, the strategy that she was employing to win.
Well, I think part of what has to happen, though, is that you have to have that conversation in private. There are some things you talk about in the barbershop when there's no cameras, right? There's some things that you talk about at home. There's some things that are family business, and I think the mistake that Barack Obama made was to take family business in the street.
I didn't have a problem.
Let me let Coleman in there.
Shaming voters is a terrible idea. It was bad when Hillary Clinton did it with deplorables. It was bad when Mitt Romney did it on the eve of the election. Even if there's a grain of truth to it and there's the occasional radio caller that's going to admit to that sentiment, let's actually look at the fact that Biden was struggling with black voters, and that was a topic of conversation over and over again. So it's not about sexism.
But Kamala Harris
hold on
is
one
not
second. Let
Biden.
me take a look at this. Let's take a look at the numbers, because I think just to see what we're talking about here, there's been a progressive decline in overall support among black men and, to a lesser degree, black women for the Democratic nominee. Biden was doing better among black men than Harris appears to be right now, based on some of the better polling that looks at these demographics. So I guess the other part of this is, you're talking about keep the business private. You're saying he's messing up the strategy, but the numbers are the numbers. And he's trying to fix a numerical problem that she has, a math problem that she has.
Right. I agree with most of what you were saying, Solomon. I don't think the problem is that he spoke it out loud. I think the problem is that he singled out black men. In other words, there is a sexism component to this race. There was a sexism component to the Hillary Clinton-Donald Trump race. Right, if Trump wins, he will have only ever beaten women. I can't give you a number, but sexism is in the mix here. But it's not black men specifically. I think it's men, not black men. And that, I think, is part of where Obama went wrong.
And I think we also have to look at numbers and actual statistics, right? Because all of those reliable polling has a small demographic of black men. You're talking about most of them poll at most 40, 50 black men, right?
Well, I don't think in this particular case, just to be clear about what we were looking at there, the exit polls were from the actual elections that we had, and then the Pew polling, Pew looks more closely at specific demographics,
right,
and they do that in a way that we, as a news organization, deem to be a reliable way of looking at this. Not every poll is reliable, but we think this one is.
And when you remember now, we had the same conversation 2 years ago about Stacey Abrams. Why won't black men support Stacey Abrams? And after the election was over, we saw the numbers, and black men in Georgia, where I live, supported Stacey Abrams at higher rates than they supported Biden. So we have this narrative, and then you have the truth, and you have this conjecture and
but the
this anecdotal
candidates are
evidence.
speaking with their actions. Kamala Harris next week is sitting down with Charlemagne the God to talk to black men. They're being explicit about it.
And she should.
But, right. So let me play for you what happened on Charlemagne's show yesterday when they were talking about a call that they'd received from a black man in Florida. This was kind of in the context of the storms, but they played the call. Listen.
It don't matter what they is, Democrat, Republican, they all treason, man. They all about money, bro. None of these people care about American people, bro. This shit hurt, bro. This shit hurt, bro. People wake up every day just want to live their life, bro. And you got these greedy snakes, man. You got these greedy snakes. Call themselves government service people, bro. And they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
And the thing about that call was that, they said it's kind of representative of what they hear often on that show, which is why she's going there.
Well, I think that you have people who are angry. I think that you have people who are planted. I think that you have people who are sent to troll. I think that you have people who are sent with a specific message to deliver to black people. And you see it online. I hear it on the radio. I see it on social media. I see it on our Facebook feed as we're doing our show. And so I think some of that is real, and I think some of it is manufactured. I think some of it is performative. But I do think that there are black men at two ends of the spectrum. There's the old black man that's going to say, well, I'm not going to vote for a woman because the Bible says men should be in charge, right? There's that guy. But then there's the young black man who only gets his news from social media and nowhere else. And so he's not watching us. He's not listening. He's not reading me or Michael. He's not reading David. He's not doing any of that. His news comes from social media. And so he has a specific point of view and is likely to believe conspiracy theories. The question is, do people who vote, are they on social media or are they on Social Security? I think they're on Social Security.
Well, I think that the problem is that no one's disputing that this government and this country doesn't treat that they treat black men okay, or that we don't have a gripe with either party, right? Because if you talk to black people privately, they will have a gripe with the Democratic Party. The point is, how do you fix it? And why don't you approach that solution the same way you approach the solution with white people and white women who don't vote Democratic, the white men who don't vote Democrat, the Hispanics who don't vote? Why do you take the specific tact for one demographic and not the entire political strategy that you use for everyone else?
I think the answer is what you said a minute ago, which is that Democrats have to get out of the habit of taking the black vote for granted. Yeah, Trump got 19% of black men, 12% of black people last time around. Like, it's going to be a bigger number this time. Adapt to that. Don't just assume.
I think we're talking a lot about race, but in many ways, gender is the key variable here, because even if you look at white people, the Republican Party has been getting a higher and higher share of the male vote. The parties have become more gendered overall, and it's true of Hispanics.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing among black people is similar to the trends we're seeing among other races. So that's the key question: is why are the parties getting more gendered?
Well, I think the AP did a poll last month in the middle of the month, and what they found was that the overwhelming majority of black voters, whether they are male or female, favor Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. They had a positive view of her, they had a negative view of him, and there wasn't much difference between men and women. So I think that when we're talking about this, we're talking about people who are loud and wrong. I think that's what's happening, is that we hear these voices, they're very loud, and we think that there are more of them than there are. And we'll see when the election happens.
There it goes, man. If that's what Obama's saying, that if you're a black man, you should be voting for a black party and shit like that, he's wrong. But if he's not, then he's not. But let me know how y'all feel. Y'all think it's about a race thing? Y'all think it's about voting for a female? Y'all think it's neither? For the guy that said, you got black men that look at the Bible and be like, I shouldn't be voting for a female. Do you got the younger generations like, I'm going off social media? I'm going off neither. I'm glad I have this channel. I'm glad I get to, me having this channel and looking at policy videos, I get to look at the truth. Even if, I don't know if they're telling the truth on CNN and all that, but at least I get hints of the truth, I guess. Because we got to go off something, right? I'm glad I watch these rallies and these debates so I can figure out who I'm voting for. It's not about black, it's not about female, male. It's just about what makes sense for our country to help us out, because life is hard. Life is actually, I mean, obviously we have what they call it, natural disasters, but as far as what's going on in the country, what bills they pass and all that, it's very important that we vote. Like I always say in every video, we're not against each other. We're one country at the end of the day, but we need to vote and vote for who we believe that's going to be the best president, vice president of the United States of America. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna start ranting. I got way more videos to do. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you get notified when I upload. Y'all, we're on our way to 1 million subscribers, y'all. Like 70% of y'all watching this are not subscribed. Subscribe to the channel. We post every day, 5 times a day sometimes, 1 time a day. We might skip a day, but we you feel me? We post, man. I love y'all. Peace and love, and we out.